And our third main topic today gets sent to us by Sebastian Dietz, who writes, "Hey, John and Rob, greetings from Germany. On the show the other day, you noted when wondering that there are a few movies we know are coming missing from Marvel's latest trailer. Since this was a trailer honoring the movies, do you think that Blade and Deadpool 3 could go directly to Disney Plus? This would also go around the R rating issue and draw more people to the service." All right, that's sent to us from Sebastian. It's an interesting question to bring, because Rob, he's right. The other day we were talking about this new Marvel spot that they put out, celebrating returning to the movies and also then giving us the lineup of all their films. And we noted that notable by their absence were a couple of key projects. Blade was not a part of that announcement. Deadpool 3, which we know they're going to be doing, that's been made official. That wasn't a part of the announcement. Nothing X-Men related was a part of the announcement. Captain America 4, which they just talked about the other day, that came out in the major trades. Captain America 4. They weren't there. Now, Sebastian is correct. The main gist of that thing was all these movies that are going to theaters. Could it be? Because a lot of people start asking the question, Rob, why wasn't Blade in there? Why weren't X-Men in there? Why wasn't Deadpool? Why wasn't Captain America 4? Could it be? Because it's not a bad theory that Sebastian came up with. Could it be that these things are destined for Disney Plus? Let's address one thing first. You mentioned that, well, it helped them get around the R rating. Rob, I don't care what they say. Deadpool 3 ain't going on Disney Plus.
Right.
They're not putting Deadpool 3 on Disney Plus. I mean, I think we understand that. Until they create an adults vault area, it would probably be just destined for Hulu whenever it is ready for that. So I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think Blade is destined for Disney Plus. I don't think X-Men, although, there's X-Men is an entire cinematic universe by themselves. So you could do a lot of things, theatrical, Disney Plus, a lot of things like that. But none of that. Now, after we did that show, Rob, I reached out to somebody I know, a little bit more inside the situation than we are, and asked, hey, just curious, I have a feeling it has something to do with films that'll be ready by 2023, but just curious, what's going on? Why, you had all these great things and it was awesome, loved it, but why wasn't there more? This is what I had written back to me. This is just a piece of what was written back to me. It's basically the same reason Avengers 5 and Eternals 2 weren't announced. They're only announcing those films up to 2023 that have verified release dates. There are over 20 plus projects on the board. Let me read that one part because there's two very interesting things here. It's basically the same reason Avengers 5 and Eternals 2 weren't announced, which we all know there's going to be an Avengers 5 and there's going to be an Eternals 2. They were only announcing those films up to 2023 that have verified release dates. There are over 20 plus projects on the board. Now, of course, not all of the things in that Marvel announcement had verified release dates, unless they're just not telling us about the release date for Fantastic Four. Everything else had the release dates. The Fantastic Four screen did not. But I think it's safe to assume that Fantastic Four is getting a 2023 release date. Because really the last one they had up there, I think, what was the final film before? Was it Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Was that the last one on the list before Fantastic Four?
Well, yes. Yes, I believe it was.
I think it was. So that's relatively early 2023. So Fantastic Four could come out like August 2023 and could be in there. And maybe there's even some other things coming maybe in later 2023, but they were only announcing them up to a point. So anything that comes after that, they're not ready to announce right now. And that's fine. They don't have to blow their proverbial load like right now. Here's our complete plans up till 2035. They don't need to do that. So that's kind of understandable because look, obviously they're still doing Blade. There was some news yesterday about them looking for a director for Blade. Obviously they're doing another Deadpool. That's been made official. So it's just that they were only absent because they didn't fit inside that time window that they were doing the announcements up to. So I think that's pretty clear. What is also very interesting, and it's not surprising at all when they say they got like 20 projects on the board. When you understand, Rob, that, Feige has often said he likes to keep his plans fully 5 years ahead. And you look now between Disney Plus and the theatrical releases, how many projects we're getting each year. We're getting like 8, 9, 10 projects a year. For them to say we've got 20 projects on the board, it's actually not that much when you consider how much content they're cranking out there. Anyway, Rob, you heard that one explanation. What do you think about that? And when do you think we might start hearing things about? Because we're getting close, Rob, to that end of that 5-year window when Kevin Feige said no X-Men or Fantastic Four till 5 years. By the time Fantastic Four comes out in 2023, it will be outside of that 5-year window. But when do you think we might hear announcements for these various projects?
Well, I mean, obviously they've dropped a huge slate on us. I mean, we knew these things were coming, but they keep refining what those things are. And while these movies are being made and coming out, they want to be generating excitement for them. But at the same time, all of these movies have been in active development this whole time. They know what Blade's going to be. They know what Fantastic Four is going to be. They even know what the X-Men are going to be. And I think that they're very methodical and they're unfurling this plan. I wouldn't be surprised if 2023 becomes the year where, we'll be on the downside of Phase 4, and we'll be looking for a wrap up to that, and then they're going to have to tell us what 2024 and 2025 are going to be. So I would imagine we're going to hear plans. We'll know all about the Fantastic Four, and I wouldn't be surprised if we know all about the X-Men sometime in 2023. Not in 2022, though, because there's too many things coming out. There's too much stuff happening. And I think whatever's going on, like with the Avengers, John, they were leading up. They knew. Remember, all the way back to, what did we see? Thanos was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. That was the first time we saw him at the end of that movie.
Well, technically, the first time we saw him was was in the post-credit scene in Avengers. But yes, we got dialogue from him in the first Guardians.
Right. I guess that's right. Which means they were planning pretty far ahead. So I would imagine they're planning even further ahead now because they know what they're doing. So I don't think we're going to get any news necessarily. We'll probably get Fantastic Four news, but I'll bet by the end of 2022, we'll probably, because Blade is opening up. They've already given us Agatha Harkness in WandaVision, which brings in the whole supernatural element to the MCU. I mean, she's a witch with powers. We already know. So Blade is the next logical advancement of the idea of the supernatural in the MCU. So, and Mahershala Ali, he's not getting any younger, and he's no necessarily a spring chicken. I would think that they would want to get in on that action so we get 3 Blade movies sooner rather than later. So I would imagine we'll get Blade news first, Fantastic Four news second, and X-Men news third. And I would expect it to begin in 2022, but not 2021.
I agree. I think that's a good observation. Question is for you guys. What do you think about all this and the upcoming projects we have? What are some other projects that you guys would like to see? What do you guys think? Jump on down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.